Okay, so let's be honest. Have you ever tried to read the book of First Chronicles? It can feel, well, a little intimidating, right? But what if I told you that hidden inside this super dense, ancient text is this powerful story? It's all about forging a national identity, proving you have a right to exist, and building a legacy that lasts for generations. So, how in the world does a book that starts like a phone book tell such an epic story? Well, let's dive in and find out.
I mean, the book opens and boom, it just hits you with this a wall of names. And it doesn't stop. We're talking 9 straight chapters of lists, genealogies, family trees, you name it. It seriously feels like trying to read a phone book from like 3,000 years ago. It's a lot.
And that's the big question, right? What is the point of all this? It's so easy to just get lost in the names and give up. But here's the thing. There is a brilliant method to this madness, I promise. These lists, they're not just filler, they are the entire foundation for the story that's about to unfold. So, you and me, let's crack this code together.
All right, section 1, the ultimate family tree. First things first, we got to get in the headspace of the original audience. For them, these lists weren't just names on a page. No way. They were a national anchor, a way of proving who they were after their entire world had just been turned completely upside down. So picture this. You're part of the people of Israel. You're just returning from this devastating exile in Babylon. These lists, this genealogy, it was everything. It was their legal claim to their land. It was proof that their story wasn't over. Think about that. It connected their present, which was pretty broken, all the way back to the very beginning of humanity. It's a census, a family tree, and a legal document all rolled into one.
And you know what's cool? It's not just one big, boring wall of text. The author is smart. He strategically pauses for these little character sketches. Like, check this out. Tucked away in a long line of so-and-so was the father of so-and-so is the brief but really powerful story of a guy named Jabez. He's this honorable dude who prays to God, "Oh, that you would bless me." And you know what? He gets it. It's this awesome little reminder that this grand national story is made up of real people with real lives. Okay, new section. Finding the main character. So, if the lists are all about establishing the nation's identity, what's their purpose in the story? Well, I want you to think of it like a giant funnel. The author is using these genealogies to systematically zoom in closer and closer on the story's one true hero. And this funnel starts as wide as it can possibly get. I mean, we begin with Adam, the start of all humanity. Then, whoosh, it narrows down to Noah, after the big reboot. Then it gets tighter, focusing on his son Shem. And from there, it zeroes in on one man, Abraham, the father of the entire nation of Israel. You can feel the lens getting tighter and tighter, can't you? So from Abraham's grandson, Israel, we get his 12 sons. Yep, the founders of the 12 tribes. But right here, pay attention, the author gives us a massive clue. As he's listing all the tribes, he hits the pause button. He tells us that even though Judah wasn't the firstborn son, he's the one who prevailed. And get this, from him, a ruler will come. The author is basically holding up a giant neon sign pointing right at the tribe we need to be watching. And here it is, the final step of the funnel. We followed that line of Judah, generation after generation after generation, Perez, Hezron, Ram, all the way down through Boaz and Jesse, until finally, after 9 long chapters of setup, we land on our target, the main character of the whole shebang, David.
All right, next up, a new king rises. And you guys, the moment David's name is finally mentioned, the entire style of the book just flips. It's wild. The lists, they stop, dead in their tracks, and the action begins. It's like the story was holding its breath for 9 chapters, and now, finally, it can exhale.
The author wastes absolutely no time. First, he gives us this quick, brutal summary of the death of the old king Saul. Saul died for his unfaithfulness, he didn't inquire of the Lord, his whole house died with him. It's framed as a total failure of faith. Then, in the very next breath, we get David. And what a contrast. All of Israel comes together for him. He's anointed king according to the word of the Lord, and the Lord of hosts was with him. I mean, the contrast could not be clearer. The author is building an absolutely ironclad case that David is the one, the legitimate, rightful king. So what's David's first big move as king?
It's a total masterstroke. He captures the stronghold of Zion, aka Jerusalem, which was a neutral city, and then he renames it the City of David. This is so smart because it establishes a brand new political and religious center for all the tribes, who are now united. So you see, this isn't just about winning a battle, it's the founding of a true national capital. Okay, next section, David's all-star team. Because let's face it, a king is only as strong as his supporters, right? And the Book of Chronicles makes it crystal clear that David had the absolute best of the best. We're talking about the entire nation rallying to his side. It's a huge groundswell of support.
Just look at this number, 340,822. What is that? That's the number of warriors from all the tribes of Israel who traveled to Hebron just to make David their king. This is not some small band of rebels. This is a massive, unified national movement. This number isn't just a statistic, it's a mandate. It's the entire nation saying, you are our guy.
And leading this massive army, a group called the Mighty Men. And these guys were warriors of almost mythical skill. I mean, just look at the resume of this one guy, Benaiah. He killed 2 lion-like heroes, a lion in a pit on a snowy day, and an Egyptian giant who was 7.5 feet tall, with the giant's own spear. These aren't just soldiers, they're legends. By listing these incredible feats, the book is showing you the sheer power and talent that was drawn to David. So, David's done it. He's united the kingdom, he's defeated his enemies. You'd think that's the end of the story, right? Nope. For the author of Chronicles, that's just the beginning. David's true purpose, his real legacy, isn't just about winning wars. It's about preparing the nation for its greatest project yet. And this next question really captures the central tension for the rest of the book. Here's the situation. David is now a victorious king. He's living in a beautiful house made of cedar. But the Ark of God, the very symbol of God's presence among them, is still in a tent. This contrast just eats at him, and it sparks his ultimate ambition. But then comes the twist. David is told, no, you shall not build me a house. Why? Because he's a man of war. He's shed much blood. The house of God needs to be built by a man of peace, and that task, he's told, will fall to his son Solomon. This is such a pivotal moment. David's whole role just shifts. If he can't be the builder, then fine. He will become the ultimate preparer. And oh my goodness, what a preparer he was. He amasses an absolutely staggering amount of wealth and materials for this temple project. Look at this, 100,000 talents of gold, 1,000,000 talents of silver. The bronze and iron, they couldn't even weigh it all. It was beyond measure. We're talking about thousands upon thousands of tons of precious metals. This wasn't just a small donation, folks. He was basically funding one of the great architectural wonders of the ancient world. And his preparations went so much further than just money and materials. David creates the entire organizational blueprint for how worship is going to work. First, he numbers the Levites, 38,000 of them. Then he appoints 24,000 to supervise the work, 6,000 as officers and judges. He organizes 4,000 musicians. Can you imagine a 4,000-piece orchestra? And another 4,000 as gatekeepers. See, he's not just funding a building. He's designing the entire institution that will live inside it. And this chart really shows you the scale of his planning. Out of those 38,000 Levites, every single one has a designated role. 63% are supervisors, 16% are officials and judges, 11% are musicians, another 11% are gatekeepers. This was so much more than a construction project. It was the creation of a massive civil and religious service, a highly organized system designed to function for generations to come. And so, here we are full circle. Remember that giant funnel we talked about? Those 9 chapters of names funneled us all the way down from the start of humanity to this one man, David. And now we see that David's entire reign, at least in the eyes of this author, funnels down to one singular, lasting purpose: preparing the way for the temple in Jerusalem. So, having done literally everything he possibly could, he gathered the materials, he organized the people, he secured the kingdom, David's final act is to pass the torch. He gives this last charge to all the leaders. Arise and build the sanctuary of the Lord God. Arise and begin working, and the Lord be with you. His job was to create the vision and provide the resources. Now it's time for the next generation to actually build.
And in the end, that's how the Book of 1 Chronicles presents David, not just as a great warrior, but as something more. He's a visionary who understood that his greatest contribution wasn't the battles he won, but what he prepared for those who would come after him. And that leaves us with this final question to think about. What really is the difference between a ruler who just wins battles and a true leader who builds a lasting legacy?